Yes. So it's advisory, consulting, and training as well. In my recent conversations with some firms around architecture, they were discussing about getting contracts, and they were wanting to push out those contracts quickly. So they chucked it in Chat GPT and got summary of what needed to be done or quick reviews. And that for me in my head was red flags, confidential documents, documents that you probably would not even want your team members or colleagues to look at, or your peers or your juniors. That is something which you are putting out in public domain to help you summarize or quickly respond to RFPs and those kind of information. IP that you would then be also using for your submissions are already out in the public domain. Not necessarily they might be searchable, but like, hey, I think that's a massive security risk, which means you need to have security controls in place, for which you first need to know what information you have, what you need to secure, how you are going to secure it, and then you start putting boundaries around that so they don't surface. You can put in controls not only around the data that people should not see in their Copilot when they're using, but you can also control in your typical scenario where you do not want people to use external Chat GPT or Claude for doing your RFPs and all that stuff. First, we would need to assess what your information architecture is. Based on that, you would then have to work through on defining the labels, then put policies in place, and then define the rules on, like, who can do what. Yes, there are certain boundaries that Microsoft 365 secures for you, but then rest you need to do that. You all are architects, you all design houses, and you put simple things as the lock on the doors, and you have windows secured. But inside, you don't do anything for the person who's buying the home or the house or whatever they are doing. They still need to consider if they have valuables, they might want to put a locker in there and secure. Many instances we have had clients ask us, like, "Hi, can you help us for the proof of concept?" So we do this for the detailed design, then we implement the proof of concept, gives detailed step-by-step instructions, as build documentation, and the team will go ahead and do it. And then we'll call you in after a couple of weeks to come and do another health check or assessment to see is everything as per the documentation, and then sign off